Hello everyone, how are you doing? And today in this video lesson, I'm gonna share with you all about beyond the state. Yeah, beyond the state. And before we study to this new point, I also have some question to ask you. Maybe one question. Yeah, and some vocabularies in the old point that we studied last week together. It was about uh, arena as IR as arena or process. Okay, IRS arena or process. So my question to ask everybody right now is global dimensions. It is what is it? What is a global dimension? Global dimension is it is concerned with exploring interconnections between people and places. It takes us to observe the similarity and differences that exist in the world and relate them to our own lives. And about vocabulary like intellectual. Intellectual means relating to your ability to think and understand things, especially complicated ideas. Yeah, and contentions means an opinion expressed in an argument. It's similar to dispute. Yeah, and multiplicity. Multiplicity means a large numbers or wide range of something. Yes, it means jumroh. Over generalizations, a way of thinking where you apply one experience to all experiences, including those in the futures. Yeah, over generalizations. So now take a look to this new one about you know beyond the state. Well, the legacies of conventional Cold War style thinking still looms large in contemporary analysis. Researchers have been interested in developing non-state centric and more fluid perspectives. Let's take a look at these new vocabularies. The first one is legacy. Legacy is mean money or property that you receive from someone after they die. Means Nail. And conventional describe weapons that are not nuclear or methods of fighting a war that do not involve nuclear weapons. Some mine, yes. And loom. Loom, if an unwanted or unpleasant event looms, it seems likely to happen soon and causes worry. Fluid. Fluid, if situation, ideas, or plans are fluid, they are not fixed and are likely to change often repeatedly and unexpectedly. Rule. Perspectives, a particular ways of considering something that's not beside. We already mentioned environmentalization and feminism as examples of analytical perspectives that acknowledge the importance of actors other than the state and the roles of individuals in particular. Feminism. Actually, everyone studied already in the previous slide. But again, about the feminism, it functions as nouns. The belief that women should be allowed the same right, power, and opportunities as men, and they're treated, in the same way, or the set of activity intended to achieve this state. That is called the training. As example, an analytical perspective. Okay, until you have other state and the role individual in particular. Some some analysts have not completely abandoned the state perspective, but suggest looking into what exactly it is inside the state that might be contributing to what happened in the global sphere. This could be related to their internal characteristics, such as their form of government, their economic profile, their cultural and uh, ideological compositions, or their demography of an area in the number and characteristic of people who live in an area. in relation to their age, sex, if they are married or not, etc. That is called demography. This perspective includes distinctives focus on the societies that make up a specific state as by a particular groups and individuals within those societies. In distinctive, it means something that is distinctive is easy to recognize because it is different from other things. ដែលខុសប្លែកពីគេដែលមិនងាយសម្គាល់និងងាយស្រួលសម្គាល់ It's easy to understand because it is very different from others. And uh, many analysts invite their readers to open the black box that way. In other words, to break up the conventional IR, a habit treating state as sexually secluded unit containers of power, politics, and studies. Seclude it's functioning as verb, I mean quiet, private, and you know not near people, roads, or buildings. Like Chiang Mai, seclude. Uh, they also openly challenge the assumption that there is such a thing as judiciary, a system of the local government. In the UK, in which official power is given to one organization that deal with all matters in a local area instead of to several organizations that each deal with only a few matters. ការរួបរวม Genetity, genitary state that action. They would dispute, for instance, that Germany as a nation state would push or austerity measures increase. Dispute to disagree with something that someone says ជំទាស់ប្រកែក and austerity means the condition or practice of living without things that are not necessary and without comfort, with limited money or goods, or a practice, habit, or experience that is typical of this ភាពតានតឹង austerity. Rather, they would insist that related policies are initiated by specific German politicians that advocate, to publicly propose or suggest an idea, development, or ways of doing something. តស៊ូមតិ advocate such measure of a particular sentiment of individual interpretation of current development or for reasons that might be linked to their own political further or specific preferences of their electorate. Electorate means all the people who are allowed to vote. I mean they are yes, they have age enough to vote to their the politician that they prefer for them. And apart from a focus on the individual and groups level of official decision making, this sub-state meaning below the state levels of analysis also attempts to expand and scope of scholarly investigations beyond formal interactions of the state. Its official representative and of its constituent parts of include informal relationship and non-official exchanges, such as flows and transfer of goods, information communications, services, and people above and below the purview of the state. Let's take a look at the highlighted verb. Constituent means one of the parts that a substance, or combinations is made of សមាសភាព and about purview, the limit of someone's responsibility, interest, or activity. សមត្ថកិច្ច according to the govern something like the police have to do things. Contemporary IR is interested in looking at actors that operate across state borders instead of being specifically confined by them. For instance, citizens of a particular state or proponent of a particular ethnic or cultural minority within that state. The studies of IR has gradually widened to include all kinds of interaction between a variety of actors, including the general public and individual members of it, people like you and me. A proponent, a person who speaks publicly in support of a particular idea or plan of action, control, yeah, proponent, and minority in a small group of in the study, that is different from the rest because of their race, religion, or political beliefs, or a person who belong to such groups, minority. And such an analytical move are simply welcome if we think of how potent the influence individual actors can be that not do not officially represent or act on behalf of state or any of their constituent parts. Potent, very powerful, forceful, and effective. That is called a potentary. That means at the pole. An example of this is the activist Julian Assange, who shouldn't, uh, who spearheaded overly, you know, publicized, publicized, yeah, wait. I cannot find it. Widely publicized whistleblowing. The whistleblowing campaigns leaking government secret via the website WikiLeaks. Uh, let's learn about this word spearhead. Spearhead to lead something such as an attack or a course of action ដឹកនាំចលនាឬវាយការវាយប្រហារ yes and publicize to make something widely known ផ្សព្វផ្សាយ and whistle blowing it's according to blowing the whistle I mean the term it is a term used when a person passes on information concerning wrongdoing such as corruption sexual harassment yeah. This is called whistleblowing. Campaign, yeah, campaigns a planned groups of especially political, business, or military activities that are intended to, achieve a particular aim, and leak the origin of secret information which becomes known or the act of making it known ការលេចចេញព័ត៌មាន yeah. A government secret via his own religious and political visions. Both Assange and Bin Laden, although very different in nature. Yes, both Assange and Bin Laden, although very different in nature, have had lasting impact on top-level global politics from the partisans of private personnel with no official political status or roles. Persona means the particular type of character that a person seems to have and that is often different from their, real or private character. Yeah. What is significant in this context is that the traditional conception of the state as the main framework of political interaction and the main points of reference for both society and individuals within it has lost, a loss of its meaning and importance. If we look at the world around us, state borders do not seem to accurately delimitate global affairs. Delimitate set, mark, or draw the boundaries of something កំណត់ព្រំដែន Yep. The majority of global interaction, be they related to global finance, production, education, personal and professional travel, labor, migration, and terrorism, no longer occur via state channels the ways they once did. We could say that the increased focus on non-state actors and cross-border issues has marked close to revolutionary turn in IR, something that could be interpreted as a shift away from their inner national between states, between states, to the transnationals across various states and their borders. Robert Keohane, one of the leading scholars in the field, recently stated that international relations is no longer a suitable label, they that we should instead refer to the discipline as global studies or world politics. Kenio in 2016. In today's world, few societal and political issues, challenges, and problems are neatly defined by the borders of individual states or even groups of states. Thinking about world affairs in a transnational rather than in a purely international term, therefore, seem more of a political necessity than just a choice. Individuals and groups interact across borders, and that relative-wise, and the meaning of space and territory as conventional are new. International commercial aviation. Aviation means the activity of flying aircraft or of designing, producing, and keeping them in good condition. And the rapid spread of information technologies has further increased people's mobility. Mobility, the ability to move freely or be easily moved. And the rate at which interaction occur across the bi-state borders, the ability for common people to store, transfer, and distribute large amounts of information, the possibility for data to travel across the world in virtually no time. Virtually means almost, nearly or almost, and increasing availability of high-speed internet have not only changed life at the personal and community levels, but also dramatically altered, the general dynamics in politics and global affairs. Uh, availability, the quality of being able to be used or obtained,ភាពដែលអាចតាក់ទងបាន and the next one, alter change or cause to change in character or composition, typically in a comparatively small but significant way. ផ្លាស់ប្ដូរ and dynamics forces or processes that produce change inside of groups or systems. សក្តានុពល dynamics. Social media provide accessible platforms of communication that allow the projection and promotion of ideas across borders at virtually no cost to the individual or groups generating and advocating them. Accessible, able to be reached or easily got. អាចចូលបាន and projection, the act of projecting a film or an image onto a screen or wall. ការចាក់បញ្ចាំង projection And advocate, publicly support already this word above, but again here, publicly support or suggest an idea, development, or ways of doing something palsu bete, uh, various political agendas, be they aggressive, revolutionary, or outright dangerous, outright it means completeទាំងស្រុង can unfold, unfold if a situation or story unfolds, it develops or becomes clear to other people later on, in relatively uncontrolled and unregulated, unregulated ways, posting real challenges in governmental agencies and political leaders try to improve and direct them. Random individuals can potentially start a revolution from their homes. Random means happening, done, or yes, chosen by chance rather than according to a plan. Bypassing any conventional conception of power and transcending spatial and material boundaries to the point where political activity, even confrontation becomes weightless and immaterial altogether. Bypassing means to avoid. Bypass means to avoid something by doing around it. And yes, that is called bypass. Actually, the right form of the verb is bypass. I mean to avoid something by going around it. Yes. Any conventional, a conception of power and transcending spatial and material boundaries to the point where political activity, events, confrontation become weightless and immaterial. Transcend to go further, rise above, or be more important or better than something, personally a limit. ហួសដែនកំណត់ and spatial relating to the position, area, and size of things. កម្រិតឬទំហំ yes. And transcend ហួសដែនកំណត់ okay. Weightless having or appearing to have no weight គ្មានទម្ងន់ and immaterial means not important or not relating to the subject you are thinking about មិនសំខាន់ដែលមិនជាប់ពាក់ព័ន្ធ yes, immaterial altogether. A powerful illustration of this can be found in Thomas Newward, an Austrian singer who is more commonly known by the stage persona Conticia Wurst. The political messages displayed during shows at the Sydney Opera House in March 2016 multiply and spread through social media. Display to show words, picture, etc. on the screen. ដាក់បង្ហាញចាំង This eventually urged various representatives of the Australian government to take a stance on gay. Take a stand, I mean to take a stand on something means you believe strongly about it one way or the other. ប្រកាន់ជំហរ take a stand on gays, lesbians, bisexual, and transgender. For short, LGBT means lesbian, bisexual, and transgender issues, and also gave momentum to the global LGBT movement. Momentum, the force that keeps an object moving or keep an event developing after it has started. Sentuh. Yeah. A national politician from, say, Austria would likely not have been able to influence the domestic debate in Australia, to that extent. Yeah, the extent, area or length amount of home disappear, yeah, let alone spark a worldwide debate that way. Spark to cause the start of something, especially an argument or fighting. Mongol out is back. Thanks you about this part. We completed already and it finished. And yeah, beyond the state, I earned you. Let's take a look this more. The Yes, this chapter has introduced you to the ideas of level of analysis as an analytical device that make the variety of issue in IR more manageable and structured. More specifically, we distinguished between the system level, the state level, the groups, and the individual level, highlighting differences as well as connection between them. We have shown that academic discipline of IR has gradually moved away from a dominant focus on the state and the system to deal more with the roles and perspective of groups and individuals. As you are reading this book, it should be an inspirational. Inspirational means making you feel full of hope or encourage through a thought that never in the history of humanity has it been easier for individuals like you to become directly involved in the practice of international relations, or should we say transnational relation. As individual, you are not just a passive subject of international relations as directed by political elite. Yeah, elite. Elite, the richest, most powerful, best educated, or best trained groups in the society. Yeah, elite. And the official state actors. You have the means of being an actor in your own right, or at the very last being counted as more scholar focused beyond the narrow confines of the state levels of analysis. Thank you for watching my video lesson today, and I hope that you all guys understand and read it again and write down this vocabulary, because it has a lot in our uh, uh, new new book that you study now. Okay, goodbye, see you everyone, good luck.